Hi, my name is Nathan Quao and welcome back to the greatest show on earth. About 90 days ago, Leicester were crowned English Premier League champions, but that's gone. We are back for the 2016-2017 season, and already teams are stocking up and the season is beginning to take shape. But we must first deal with the small matter of the Community Shield that's happening on Sunday, the 7th of August. My partner Benjamin Nketsia joins me, and Ben, it's nice to have you back. The last time we had this conversation, Leicester City were English Premier League champions, but that's all gone now. We start all over again. Leicester will kick us off with Manchester United. That's happening on the 7th. It's the Community Shield. They call it a glorified friendly, but it will be anything but a friendly. Jose Mourinho wants to start his reign off to a banger, and Claudio Ranieri wants to remind people that his Foxes are not a one-season wonder.
Amazing, and I've been going through preseason myself, and I'm glad that the
Everybody's going through preseason.
I'm glad that the season has we're already about to have our curtain raiser, and like you said, this is way more than a friendly match. Mourinho wants to announce his emergence back to the Premiership with a bang, and he does have the men to do it. And I mean, a couple of those guys as well who want to take advantage of the preseason or the Community Shield to get it going. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is already treated us to a Caesar kick in his debut game for Manchester United. So already a teaser for fans on what's to come this season. Henrik Mkhitaryan, already folks are saying that he will boss a large majority of games this season. This offers us an opportunity to have a look at what the magician will bring with him to the Premier League. But Leicester City, their team looks slightly different from what we saw last season, but that was to be expected.
I don't know, I've seen them through pre-season. There's something about this team, something has changed about Leicester City. I don't know if you felt it, but I feel they've lost something. Of course, N'Golo Kante is gone, but I feel they've lost something. Going into that Community Shield, I don't know what you think, but I just feel that they will come into that game not having enough intensity about them. We saw them lose 4-0 to PSG the other day in the International Champions Cup. Like I said, I feel that they've lost something.
Well, I mean, if you lose a player who makes 100 tackles and over 100 interceptions in your championship winning season, you definitely feel like a part of you has been taken away. But I think that Leicester City have more to prove, and they are even more determined this season just to prove to people that they are not a one-season wonder, and that will be interesting. But I mean, take away N'Golo Kante, and even last season I felt that a player with the stature of Gökhan Inler was good enough to do what N'Golo Kante did. He might be a bit older, but certainly he has the experience. He's
on his way out of the team. I think he's up for sale. Or it's gonna
yes, he is up for sale. But I mean, regardless of what happens, I'm sure that Drinkwater and a couple of those midfielders in there will have a big role to play, at least certainly during the Community Shield. And it's a big game. The fans will be there. The dignitaries will be in there. Claudio Ranieri himself, the godfather they call him these days, he will be in there. Like I said, there's just a little missing vibe in the team. Of course, like I'm saying, it's N'Golo Kante. He was like the glue of the team, the one who broke up play and the one who started things going forward. And you know Leicester City do not play a possession-based game, so definitely with N'Golo Kante moving out, there's going to be some sort of void to fill, and especially there's always been talk about Riyad Mahrez moving on, Jamie Vardy deciding to stay. You know, it's not the happy holistic environment you want to have going into the season. So maybe it's a bit fractured on the vibe side of things, but I think that with regards to work ethic and with regards to getting things going again, the players are up for it.
Let's zone in on this game. Now it'll be Jose Mourinho versus Claudio Ranieri. Jose Mourinho replacing Claudio Ranieri, if you like, at Chelsea when all of the, when the empire was beginning to come together at Stamford Bridge. How do you think that game will play out? Now, will it be a glorified friendly? Will players going for tackles? Will we see an intense atmosphere? Or will we see two teams who are still trying to figure out where they are as they try to put themselves together for a season that kicks off about 6 or 7 days after the Community Shield?
I think it will be a fusion of both, really, because at this point, teams are still sort of going through pre-season. And remember that the season doesn't start a whole week after the Community Shield, and a whole week without football just went about. You started playing rigorously. It's a long time. So a lot of the managers, or both managers, will be looking to try out tiny details of their strategies for the season, and players will also be trying to feel their way into the season. So I do not think that there will be hard crunching tackles, but players will want to warm themselves up into the season. I mean, I've already mentioned a couple of big names who are coming and will be looking to make a mark on the opening day of the season, but I think that both sets of players will also be concerned with giving the fans a good game. I mean, people pay a lot of money to watch such matches. Wembley is one of the esteemed grounds around Europe, so I mean, when you get an opportunity to watch a game at Wembley, you want to make sure that at least you are treated to a good game of football, and I'm sure that in the players' minds, they want to come out here victorious for their fans, but they also do want to walk away entertaining the same fans as well.
You mentioned that, and I saw last season's Community Shield between Arsenal and Chelsea. It was a fantastic atmosphere where you had Arsenal fans very excited. They won ultimately. That the football on the pitch was absolutely fantastic, and some people say it gave us hints. I did not think that 2-3 months after that we'll have Chelsea struggling the way they did and Arsenal punching their way to a Premier League title. Eventually they lost out to Leicester. But now let's move on. Let's focus on the two managers, Jose Mourinho and Claudio Ranieri. You mentioned earlier that Mourinho wants to make a statement, and we've said it so many times that on two fronts he wants to respond. One, to the threat of Manchester City, his closest rival Pep Guardiola is there. Plus he wants to probably tell the people at Chelsea that you made a mistake by letting me go. What kind of a team do you think Jose Mourinho will play over the weekend? Should he back Paul Pogba during the week? Do you think he will risk him in that game, or you feel that he will keep him fresh for a season starter? What happens to the likes of Rashford and Rooney and Zlatan? What kind of Manchester United are we going to see on Sunday?
Interesting you should ask about that, and especially with emphasis on Paul Pogba. I think that Mourinho is a football person, and he understands how the game goes. He knows that Paul Pogba might not be anything close to the sort of fitness that will be required to get him to play competitive football, but he might just want to give the fans a teaser, just so they know what they are getting ahead of the season. So I think that in the unlikely event that Pogba does join somewhere this week, he might just receive maybe 5-10 minutes of the play, just so United fans can get a look at their new man, and just so Jose Mourinho can,
or the old player who's coming back.
Exactly. Just so Jose Mourinho can showcase it to the other teams and say, yes, we got our man, and he's the most expensive signing in the world right now. But I think that, I mean, all the new signings I'm tipping to feature in this game. You look at Henrik Mkhitaryan.
On the Manchester United side.
Henrik Mkhitaryan looks like he will be a key cog in how Mourinho's strategy functions. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him. Marcus Rashford, I think, might play a bit more of a back row this season. He might be put to the task of learning from the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and I'm sure that we'll see that from right from the get-go. So he might start off from the bench, but everything else I expect to be the same. Players who are fit or anything close to full fitness should get a look in this.
What about the Leicester situation? We've mentioned N'Golo Kante. Obviously, he's gone on to Chelsea. He will not be taking part in the game. They've brought in Ahmed Musa. We hear stories of Gabor Kapushka from Poland, 19-year-old. He'll be joining them. Of course, if you take Kante out, they've brought in this chap from France. Gay, I believe the name is. Do you think we'll see a setup very similar to what we saw last season, where Vardy led the line, Okazaki played behind him, Drinkwater and all the others filling up the rest of the positions? Or we'll see maybe Ahmed Musa beginning to get an inkling of a starting position right from day one in terms of the Community Shield?
Well, it's interesting you should talk about the transfer business. Talk about Kapushka. He's been chased by some of the biggest clubs in Europe this season. It's interesting that Leicester City are in pole position to bag him, but again, you won't talk about Ahmed Musa, African interest. Of course, we're always happy when there are players of African interest. They spent big on Ahmed Musa.
From Chelsea, so that's a lot they spent on him.
Well, I'm expecting him to feature heavily. A lot of people wrote Ahmed Musa off when interest initially rose for Manchester United. People thought that it was a ridiculous signing for United to even be considered. I have watched Ahmed Musa on several occasions. I've seen him represent his country. I've seen him represent his club side. I think he's a fantastic talent. He finishes well, great pace on the ball. I can imagine a front line of Ahmed Musa and Jamie Vardy. Defenders, good luck trying to catch these two guys, but there will be a lot of pace in Leicester City's strategy this season. And it just basically tells you that they'll be running a setup very similar to what they ran last season. Claudio Ranieri already talks about the fact that a lot of the central midfielders he has are already itching to show that they have more than what it takes to take N'Golo Kante's place, and that's good competition. Or that's that's great if you're a manager and you're looking to get off to sort of like the same start, or you're looking to get off or start off from where you ended last season. I feel that Leicester again, the biggest pressure is for them to prove to the rest of the world that this was more than the one season.
Should they be concerned with the results? And that question cuts across for both teams. Should Manchester United think about how the game against Leicester on the 7th of August ends? Should they think about how it ends or how well they play?
I mean, there are those who speculate about what happens to those who win the Community Shield, what happens to teams who don't win the Community Shield. Basically, I think that it's sort of a dress audition, or how would you call it?
Sort of final rehearsal.
Final rehearsal, really, for how the opening day of the season will be like. It's not something where managers will usually panic. Not something that will usually lead managers to panic. It will lead them to rather figure out the fine details that need to be maybe tuned.
So both teams shouldn't think about the results?
Not really. It's a Community Shield. Like I said, it's a game where fans come in to enjoy. I mean, for teams that have not won anything in a long while, they usually look for this, or they usually look up to this as a reason to atone for their trophy woes. But for Manchester United, I mean, United fans will remember that they are here just because of Louis van Gaal. I need to remind them about that. They are here because of Louis van Gaal, even if they think that the last campaign was atrocious. For Leicester City, they are coming off a championship winning season. I mean, they are the toast of everybody. Losing will not douse their fire. I think that they are set for another interesting season. I will not say they will defend their crown or they will be even in and up with the challenge, but I think they are up for an interesting season.
Who wins this?
Manchester United.
Full-time penalties?
Full-time.
Okay, so that's all right. Benjamin Nketsia calls it in favor of Jose Mourinho. He says the Portuguese will win his first trophy come the 7th of August in the English Community Shield. That's how we start the season, and welcome to a fantastic 2016-2017 season. We are launching our coverage on the 7th of August, live on air and also at our premises at Adabaka. If you can't join us there, tune in. We'll have great fun from about 2 p.m. to about 5:30. My name is Nathan Quao. Benjamin Nketsia join me for a preview of the Community Shield. We'll be back for a look ahead to the entire 9 months. Welcome to a fantastic 2016-2017 English Premier League season.